Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI Live Learning. In this episode, I'm gonna take a look at this roast apple pie. Actually, I was inspired by this image from Reddit, and then this guy put this apple pie that's looking like this. It looks so deliciously procedural, and then I was looking at it, and hey, I think we should try to do this inside Blender or using Sverchok, try to recreate this procedurally, right? So I'm gonna quickly save this into my Dropbox. I'm gonna take you. Maybe this live noding won't make the whole apple pie perfectly, but I'm gonna take you kind of like the thinking that I go through when generating something like this. Before I go into Sverchok, there are a few things that we can do to generate something like this. Usually, a good way to start with is just to try to manually create it, not jump right away to Sverchok or animation nodes. You don't, but try to kind of sketch it out, or maybe kind of thinking how you can do this in the most efficient way. The easiest, of course, is to kind of digitize it or trace it manually, just by using grease pencil, for example. Grease pencil is always a good start. Um, Perhaps you want to do a couple of strokes like this. Try to make it like for every part, you make it into like a single strokes, Don't make one continuous stroke, like multiple, like hairy kind of strokes. That will not work too well. But if you're doing it like kind of like free hand flowing, it should be better. And then maybe in this case we convert it to Bezier curve, and then okay, that's kind of connecting itself. Maybe that's what you want. That's okay, doesn't matter. For this case, maybe all we need to do is just to either extrude this or giving it a little bit of dimensions, and maybe kind of going inside, and then kind of okay, maybe we can twist this guy, tilt it. I don't know how to tilt this properly, but I reckon it's being tilted anyway, so probably something like this, kind of generating the like a rose kind of shapes, more or less. Maybe adding some thickness as well will help. But of course, grease pencil tends to be heavy, and this will be better if we kind of tidy it up and then make it more efficient with a point count. Currently, it must be super dense, and that's not very efficient. Can be cleaner, I guess. So that's kind of a quick way if you want to use grease pencil. You can of course also use other method, like if you like to use polygon. Working with polygon is like I call it like a, if I am kind of doing it, I tend to use like the click method. So if we look from the top view, okay, generally for the rows, oops, I just drew grease pencil accidentally, but anyway, the idea is, I think with the rows we make some kind of things like this. I can use control click and then kind of try to draw the rose shape. With polygon, you can always add subdivisions later and kind of smooth it out, and doing things like that. I think a really good polygon modeler is really comfortable with extrusion and then kind of connecting the points and then doing subdivisions. I think that's the way to go, and then kind of extrude it up and then, I don't know, maybe scale it. So that's probably like a quick rose. Yeah, I think that was kind of made with a single stroke, or you can also be like a multiple stroke. We kind of get the idea. If we want to use Sverchok, I guess I can start with a circle or a cylinder. I have to have a think first. File, save as. Extrusion and then scaling, that seems to be doing the job already. Sverchok, rose, apple pie. This is probably like not like a finished product, but I'll show you a couple of ways to do this. We can start with a circle, view a draw, yes. Start with a circle and then try to, okay, how to disturb this circle, maybe using scale every vertices, using a different vector, maybe random number generator. This gonna give us something. So that's kind of giving us more points than needed. Maybe I need to kind of slice, or at least slice. Level 1, kind of guessing. This is probably not gonna work. This separate, what is this doing? Maybe don't use scale. The idea is to move each and every points slightly. Sometimes I'm still not 100% how to do that, you know. Maybe move vertices and vector. I know that this guy will multiply over it, and then random number generator if this guy take it. Okay, this guy is doing it. This is what I want to do, like previously. It's kind of making like a rough looking flower, even though they're not smoothed, so it's just like very sharp. But this is a good start, you know. You can kind of think, okay, rows can be made this way. You just make like multiple, and then you can use maybe like the matrix and make a line, and then the line's kind of growing in the x-axis. I did this many times. It's probably a better idea to use other thing, not lines actually, but we can rewire this line. And currently we're just getting like a replica of this weird looking shapes, but we can always randomize it, and we can also use the, let me see, we can also scale it. Let's use range float and then vector in for the scaling, and we kind of control the scaling this way. So that might work. It should be getting smaller and smaller. How many do we have? 25. 25 vertices, okay. Now we are getting somewhere. 25. So that's not so much like an apple pie, but I think we can kind of randomize the seed of random number generator, range integer, probably. Interestingly, I think the random number generator is not doing it. Maybe I need to multiply. So we have 25 objects. I think I need to do like a list repeat or something. List repeater. I wonder if this is doing it. Maybe it's not the way to go. No, probably this is not a good way to do it, but I still wanna kind of try. Instead of using the random number generator, maybe we can use noise. So vector noise, kind of scalar, and then this guy doing it like that. So this is probably a little bit better and also smoother. We can control this let's multiply by scalar, control the actual noise. So this starts to resemble the rows, maybe a little bit better. Actually, noise probably is not the right way. The right way is like using sine or cosine, giving you a nicer wave, and then you kind of add a little bit of noise on top of that to give it a little bit of randomizations. And then we can use matrix. And let me quickly test this with a grid. So we have, let's say we have 4 of them, and we want to randomize each of the shape. We can perhaps use the seed. Hopefully the seed will work. Random, actually range integer. So apparently this guy also doesn't quite like it. 5, because we need to, I think we need to do like a repeat or something. Or we might need to have like a multiple of this object. Oh yeah, that seems to be working. Four to 10, size 5. Let's start to, yeah, actually that's working. Controlling the radius, and then in fact we can also control the vertices this way. This can be a float. This seems, now we are getting somewhere. As the flower gets bigger, it gets more noise, hopefully. Now instead of using plane, let's use line and reroute this, rewire. So now this guy is gonna grow. Should be getting smaller and smaller, or let's see. The count integer. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, okay, we have 5. Currently, we have like a random size for each for each of these elements of apple pie being generated. Scalar, no, this is not gonna do it. Z. Center the line. Actually, don't need to do that. Scaling, okay, let's do the scaling. Vector in, range, float, plug into this, counts from maybe 5 to 1, count coming from this guy, Control J. So that's hopefully doing the job. There's something about this number that's not correct. The smaller one seems to be getting a lot more vertices. Let me check. Wonder if the number is correct. So this is controlling the radius, and that's the smallest one. Smallest one should be around 4.65. It's getting a lot of noise. There's a randomness of the seed. Oh, actually, randomness of the seed. Of course, that's kind of matter as well, because currently each of these doesn't have any correlations. They are just random between each other. It's not like noise. Maybe the strengths need to be also getting smaller and smaller. Maybe if I plug that in, so the noise should be getting smaller. It seems to be taking care of the noise a little bit better. Probably it's a good idea to separate this guy. So we have control over the size, and then let's look at the edges only while top. So it's still a little bit too random sometimes, and suddenly there's a jump there. Oh, I know why. Because this is random number generator. I just realized it's not like range float. Sorry about that. Should be like this. So, and this guy should be integer. Count. There you go. It's a little bit better now. Start, stop. Start 20, stop. It's actually like backward in this case. 4 to 20. The noise is not very pretty, but I think this is a good start. This is better. There's a randomizations on the seed, but I'm not quite happy with that. What's going on at the edge there? Wonder why. Scalar, maybe these guys kind of, yeah. You don't need that. Just adjust the noise a little bit. So now it's starting to get there with this apple pie thing. Feel top, adjust the noise from here. Math, sine, might use the sine too at some point. So that's controlling the guy. So now, yeah, this is kind of starting to get there. It's like looks like a bunch of flat pie on top of each other. We want to make this a little bit more like a rose, then we might need to just extrude it out. But I might finish this in the next live noding, or I think it's just a matter of extruding it out. But this is a good start, you know. If we bake it, it's gonna be like separate objects. But let's try bake it, and then gonna join them manually, and then go to edit mode, kind of extrude it up, scale it, and we have something that's resembling a rose. Not exactly, but I guess that should be. That can be it for now. Yeah, so that's there you go. That's how I kind of think through the creation of the rose apple pie. Thanks to that photo at Reddit. I'll try to finish this at some point. But if you have any questions, suggestions, just let me know. There must be like many ways to do this in Sverchok. Maybe even less nodes, simpler. There are many ways to do things. So not one answer, but many ways that actually, if you find the answer to the problem that's easier for you to understand, that's actually a better answer than you are trying to kind of just get the answer from someone else and you don't understand it. You just use it. Sometimes you do that too. But anyway, thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you on the next video.